I'd now like to invite Venerable Mahinda to the stage to give his address of spirituality from the heart. We're running late.
Okay, I will cut short. When I heard about the sharing of Alison and Uncle Max, I'm reminded of the occasion when I was studying in Sri Lanka, when I was invited to a village temple. And they invited me to give a sermon. So after about half an hour, then I said, "Is that enough?" The monk would turn around and say to me, he says, "Please carry on." So I carried on to 1 hour. Then I look at him, he says, "Please, more." And it went on 2 hours. Then he said, "Go on, because we have a lot of stories. We have in the Jataka, they are the life stories of the Buddha before the past life stories of the Buddha. Yeah? You know, the Buddha was, before he became fully enlightened, he was even a quail. You know a quail? Yeah. Next time you have any fire, any bushfire, anything, if you can recite this verse, this special parita from the quail, I'll tell you a little story first, okay? Because you have initiated me into storytelling. So, the Buddha once went around into the forest with his disciple, his close disciple, Venerable Ananda. And then at a certain place, Buddha stopped and said, "Ananda, this is the place. Long time ago, yeah, when I was a quail, when there was fire was ravaging around this area. And I could barely walk. I was a little one, very young, and Mom and Dad is away. What did I do? This is what I did." This was the Buddha in he related his past life story as a bodhisattva, as a being that is aspiring for full enlightenment. And he said, "As a quail, this is what I did. I just say that I am little quail, my wings are not developed, I can't fly. My mom and dad is not around, just by myself. Yeah. By this truth, may the fire around this, a certain distance around, may the fire not come to me." And the fire stopped all around. Yeah. What do you call this? You may say, Spirit, we call it an act of truth. Anything we live by truth, by truthfulness, And if there's anything, any danger, anything that goes by, we just recall on the basis of this truth. You can call it an act of asseveration, which says, by this truth, may I be protected. And so it happens. Yeah? Right. Now, on the subject of spirituality from the heart, yeah? I was prepared to speak for 45 minutes. I'll try to do it in half an hour, or maybe less. Yeah. Spirituality is about transcending the ego. Transcending the ego. The false notion of the self, as which is the main cause of all human sufferings. In our daily lives, we constantly encounter the pain and unsatisfactoriness caused by our concept of I, my, me, mine. However, due to ignorance and delusion, we are not aware of the problem. We always tend to attribute the cause of our suffering to some external causes. Yeah. Suffering within families, within the community, nations, as well as between nations, ethnic groups, human and the natural environment, all arise due to our view. I am right, you are wrong. We hold on to a belief that I am separated from you, that I exist as a permanent, solid and separate entity. But if we pause for a few moments, whenever we feel hurt because others speak badly about us, or because others do not agree with our own ideas and beliefs, ask ourselves, who or what is hurt? Anytime that you feel hurt, you feel some kind of discomfort, just ask yourself, who is hurt? What is hurt? And then, little by little, you will start to recognize the self-idea. And one day, you will see the need to go beyond self. And in order to go beyond self, we need to understand who or what the self is about. We have this body. The shape, the form of our body is conditioned by our actions, what we call karma, from past lives, karmic thing. And also the genetic from received from our parents. But we can mold, we can remold it, our body, without cosmetic surgery. Actually, if you learn to do metta and learn to have a smile in your hearts, if you do not know how to smile in your heart, well, try to smile here. Yeah? And you see all the tensions, the muscle stress begins to relax. Yeah? And over time, your facial muscles, you will look different. Yeah. In fact, according to the teachings of the Buddha, the practice of metta, loving kindness, will give rise to 11 benefits. I won't go through these details because it's all in my booklet. Yeah? But I'll mention to you one of these benefits is that you will look more pretty or handsome. No, I'm not joking. It's not the color. Yeah? Our colors may be different, but the radiant, your aura, your radiance, you begin to glow. Yeah? That is one of the benefits of metta, loving kindness. I'll give you another one. Another one is that after you have practiced metta more and more, but don't forget there are different levels in the cultivation of loving kindness. In the early stages of metta, according to the instructions that I guided you this morning, yeah? As you practice this, you will start to develop this idea that these people are suffering. I will send metta, I will radiate metta. But you will still have some problem, because as long as you have this idea, I am giving you metta, and you are not treating me properly. So because of this idea of I and my, me and mine, I give you metta, you not ready to six, I get upset. Right? So that metta is also metta, but it's not so high class one. It is, yeah, it is called relative Buddhism. But at a higher level, as you practice more and more, yeah, you begin eventually to lose this idea of self, I, my. In fact, in our experience in teaching metta, loving kindness, what we find is this. When they start off with sitting down, normally in our retreats, you don't use a chair, you sit on the floor, yeah, and cross your leg. And then, after a little while, we guide you to sit. Maybe you'll be well, happy, feel a sense of well-being, happiness. And then after that, spread out, may all being be well and happy. Because that's what metta is about. Metta is the wish. As we cultivate, of course, metta means really friendliness, true friendliness, that comes about through the genuine wish, the wish for the well-being of all beings, all sentient beings. Yeah? Now when you start, you wish that all beings be well and happy, all beings well and happy, you actually forget yourself. And then you get into the state of calm and quietness. And then suddenly, my leg is painful. You start to experience pain because of what? Because your attention now is brought to your leg, my leg. Yeah? So this idea, this concept of I and my, that is one that gives rise so much of suffering. Now, it's so good to hear that Alison did not go to school. My grandmother did not go to school either. But I learned so many things from my grandmother. But all these people who have gone to school, they have learned so many things about everything under the sun, but they have not learned something about themselves. They do not know who they are. Yeah. That's why I gave up my studies. When I was in university, eventually I gave up my studies to find out more about myself. Yeah. You know your body, this body that you look into the mirror again and again. What is this body made up of? Or you say, of course, we have a formula: hair, skin, flesh, bones, and so on. And then if you break down into different, what you call elements, it becomes different elements: earth, water, fire, wind, element, and so on. Yeah? Now, if you go on further and divide these elements, what do you get? Any scientists here? Atoms. Atoms. And please go back, not here, or maybe afterwards, go back, go into the internet, and then look up what atoms are. Atoms are actually 99.999% empty. What does that mean? That means that each and every one of us that is made up of trillions of cells and atoms, I do not know how many atoms we have. And each atom is actually 99.999% empty. Therefore we are? Are you? Why? Because you trust too much your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your tongue, and your ordinary state of mind. We depend the knowledge that we receive mostly through our six sense bases, our sensory perceptions. But I'm sure you realize that your eyes, you cannot see everything. The eyes can only see a certain spectrum of light, a certain wavelength between infrared and ultraviolet. Beyond that, you can't see. Certain animals can see much better than you. Yeah? Your ears, you can only hear sound within a certain range of wavelength. The dogs can hear better than you, better than us. Yeah? So because we trust so much on our sensory perceptions, yeah, and the information that we learn from schools, as well as in universities, so we think we know. But the reality is something else. In order to realize the reality of things, we need to go beyond our senses, beyond our sensory perceptions. That is what meditation does. And that is what the practice in certain Aboriginal community, is it they call Dadri? Dadri? That is, I think, is practiced north, in the north, and it is deep listening. Listening with the heart. Go deeper, deeper, deeper. As you listen, deeper and deeper, you will see there's no more rising, no more falling, no more coming, no more going. It is just still. And not only that, the practice of looking into the sky, meditating, space, the vastness of space. When we meditate on emptiness, yeah, we associate it with the sky, the emptiness of sky, the space. Yeah. So, did I say 15 minutes? Yeah. Now, in the teachings of the Buddha, in the Maha Mangala Sutta, the Buddha talked about certain the requisites of spirituality. the basis of spirituality. Garavocha, Nivatocha, Santuticha, Katanyuta, Kalena Dhammasavanang Etang Mangala Muttamang. Just 5 things. Yeah? First one, Garavocha. Garavo, respect. Reverence, respect. Who do we respect? What do we respect? We first learn to respect our elders. And there are 2 kinds of elders. Our really physical elders, that means those who are older than us in age, our parents, grandparents, brothers who are older, sisters who are older, and so on. Then there's another kind of elder, spiritual elders. These spiritual elders are those who have, by virtue of their previous cultivation, they have developed their wisdom and insights. They lead a spiritual life. Although they are young in age, they are worthy of respect. These are 2 kinds. Of course, we need also to extend our respect for the sanctity of all living beings. And that is why the very first precept in Buddhism is Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami. That is, we undertake to abstain from killing or destroying any sentient beings. Yeah. So the respect, the opposite is to respect the sanctity of life of all living beings. Yeah. Then we also need to respect the environment around us. Yeah. And that is why you find the Sangha, especially the community, the spiritual community, the monks and nuns, yeah, in the Vinaya, the rules of conduct, that we are not supposed to defecate in certain areas, we are not supposed to urinate in areas where there's water, yeah, close to water, yes, yeah. So these are all rules, regulations, yeah, how we learn to respect. And the blessings that we always recite, we say, Abhivadana Silisa Nichang Vadda Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayu Vanno Sukhang Balang. Abhivadana Silisa Nichang Vadda, one who is always respectful, having reverences things. 4 things increases. Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti, 4 things will increase. Ayu, Varna, Sukhang, Balang. Ayu, lifespan, your lifespan increase. Varna, complexion, your complexion improves. Sukhang, happiness. Balang, strength, your mind, your mental strength develops. Yeah? Now, you know, through respect, when you respect others, there are, through our body, our speech, and our mind, our heart, when we have respect deeply, we will listen and we will carry out instructions from our parents, our grandparents, and elders. And all these elders who have the kind of experience they have in life, by respecting them, we can avoid so much of troubles and problems and dangers in our life. And there are masters, there are spiritual masters. Yeah? If they tell you something, eat first before you go back. You better eat. Yeah. And if they tell you, stay on for another day, don't fly, you don't go. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll tell you something later, what you should do. Yeah? If you have deep respect, these things. Then, the second virtue is nivatoja, humility. Reverence and humility, they strengthen one another. Yeah, reverence and humility. Be humble. Nothing can be learned without humility. Yeah. Nivadoja. Santutticha, contentment. Yeah. How do we define contentment? Food, our basic requisites of life, having food, shelter, clothing, medicine. Yeah. That's the basic requirements of life. Yeah. If you look at the monks, when I was practicing in the forest, I only carry what you call a bowl, an umbrella, yeah, and mosquito net. I will put it on the branch of a tree or anywhere, and I sleep there. Yeah. Very simple life. Yeah. Of course, in your lay capacity, you have various needs, various things, but there is a difference between need and greed. In greed, there is no limit. You're wanting more and more, more and more. But when you talk about contentment and your needs, you can simplify your life. I think we have seen how simple life can be here in Uluru and in the Aboriginals community, how simple life can be. Yeah. Then, contentment, the Buddha said in another area, Santutti paramang dhanang. Contentment is the greatest wealth. Yeah. Today, many of those people who have migrated here to come to Australia, actually, they are coming here mainly for their children's education, is sending their children to schools. But the trend now is to measure education in terms of what? Why do you want to get education? Because money, because of status, yeah? And they want to get more and more. That is why here when we try to do Shramadana, when we try to get working bee, people to come to help, very difficult to find because they are so busy. They have 2 or 3 jobs sometimes. Yeah? So they have no time to volunteer. Yeah? Because they want to make their money as much as they can. Money to bring them happiness. Yes, they get a little bit of happiness, but researchers have found that when you reach a certain stage, yeah, after that, the more you work for money, the less happiness you get. Yeah? Anyway, Buddha said, contentment is the greatest wealth. Yeah? Then, next one is gratitude. Garvocha, nivadocha, santuticha, katanyata, gratitude. I think you have heard a lot about gratitude over this today and yesterday. Yeah? But if you are contented, then you will have an inner quiet environment when your mind is not so busy. Your minds get more and more quiet. Then you will become aware. You will begin to appreciate even the little things that comes by your way. Yeah. As long as your minds are so distracted, it is difficult to appreciate all the things that we have. I remember one day, after coming back from India, there are certain places that I go in India, Nepal, when I turn on the tap, the water is not very clean. very dirty water. Yeah. So when I'm back in Australia, one day I turn on the tap and I see the water so clean, and I just look, and suddenly it is thought, thank you. I have clean water. Yeah. Suddenly, just this word, thank you, started to, hearts open up, the joy, there's joy and happiness. So if we can, just in the calmness and a quiet environment, yeah, you will begin to appreciate things better and be grateful for what Mother Earth have given us. The sun, yeah, and the good air that you have here. Be thankful for that. Yeah. Then, and the fifth factor is listening to Dhamma, what you are doing here. Timely listening to the Dharma. Now, when we listen to Dhamma, what is Dharma? There are two aspects in Buddhist teachings. There are two aspects of Dharma. One is called the Lokiya Dharma, Dharma, worldly Dharma. That means those teachings that help to maintain peace and harmony within our ourselves and with our family, our community, and the world. Then there is a worldly Dharma. That is the worldly Dharma. And that is what most people amongst the Buddhist community, when you go to temple, what do you ask for? Why do you go to temple? Because of what? You pray for what? You pray for money. You pray for your health because of sickness. You pray if you cannot get a good partner, you pray to get a good partner. And after getting good partner, you know children, you pray for children. And after you get children, you pray for something else. Because it's too difficult. Yeah? So you pray that the children grow up quicker. And that you will be free. Yeah? So this is sort of prayer. And in the Dharma, there are, in the Sigala Vada Sutta, in the discourse given to young Sigala, Buddha mentions of, there are duties of children to parents, parents to children, husband to wife, wife to husband, pupil to teachers, teachers to pupil, friends to friends, employers to employees, religious teachers to disciples, and disciples to religious teachers. This covers all the roles and social in our life. There are duties, responsibilities. It is not just what people talk about rights. Yeah? Children are talking about their rights. Yeah? But first your duties, when you perform your duties, the rights will naturally be there. Yeah? So all these teachings will help to maintain that kind of peace and harmony within your family and the community. The other aspect of Dharma is called Lokuttara Dharma. Lokuttara Dharma is that Dharma, that teachings that takes us beyond this worldly and mundane life, the supramundane Dharma. Now that is the Dharma that's so important today as we live in this time of great change, the time when we see civilization, humanity is faced with civilizational crisis. Now this is actually not my word, I'm borrowing the words of Dr. Ari, and because when I did a small booklet on awakening with Metta, I had to look around to ask somebody to write a foreword. So I got Dr. Ari to write a foreword for me. And this is what he said, I quote, yeah? In the foreword he says, humanity is facing a civilizational crisis. When I first read this, I wasn't quite sure what it is all about. But later I started to put things together. Yeah? If you look around what is happening around in the world, the number of wars that are taking place, the violence are taking place, yeah, and the pollution is taking place in the water, in the air, yeah, that we breathe in, everything, yeah. So this is what it is, universal in nature, and it affects all beings on our planet. Furthermore, it endangers the very sustainability of all life support systems. Now, those of us who are spiritually oriented accept this as a crisis in human consciousness. Therefore, we should attempt to bring about a transformation in human consciousness, beginning with ourselves as individuals, families, groups, and communities. We can have as our common goal the full awakening of a human personality, as well as the creation of a critical mass of universal spiritual consciousness. Our collective energies will certainly bring about a transformation of human consciousness as a whole. Now, our first speaker, Professor Shane Hewson, spoke about collective agent, yeah? And this is something what I wish to draw your attention to. We are living in a time, a crisis, very critical time, where we have man-made as well as natural disasters, more and more frequent. Yeah. What can we do about it? Mind, if we understand about a mind, human mind, Buddha said, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Mind is the forerunner of everything. Actually, it's our mind, our intention. If we gather like this and we have wholesome mind, wholesome good intention, those things, yeah, the effect of 200 people will be more than 200 people. Yeah. In fact, experiment has been done in United States. I learned about this during my visit there, and how experiments were done, how to minimize the crime rate in Washington, D.C. And this was done a long time ago, in the 70s or even 90s. And groups of people came together, about 1,000 people came together just to meditate. There was no significant change in the environment problems. But when they start to increase 2,000, 3,000 and the 4,000 mark, the crime rate fell to 25%. And that was significant change in scientific controls. With all the scientific controls, they repeated that again and again. Yeah. And they came up with certain formula. We don't need the whole world to do these things. We only need the square root of 1% of a population of a certain area to create that kind of collective power, consciousness, that can make a change, can make a difference. And that is what this convention is about, to connect like-minded people, peace-loving people from various parts of the world, yeah, to give a little time every day. In the past, we ask only for full moon and new moon, 15 minutes. But now that we have come to a very critical phase, we need every day. 15 minutes. Yeah? And afterwards they will be showing to you that what you call Metta around the world map. Have you got that map? Yeah? I'm finishing. Yeah? Metta around the world is about connecting. Yeah? People now, we have 200 people here. I'm sure you all have friends, relatives, friends in different parts of the world. Yeah? And if you're able to connect them, now so far these are the places, the lighted areas, these are the places that we have some connections. But we don't have connections to many other parts of the world. Yeah? So what we would like you all to do, if you can, yeah, spread the word around, yeah, and then we would like people from all places to meditate for at least a certain period of time. At least 15 minutes or half an hour is better. Yeah? Now, what we are promoting is on the 31st of December, right? 31st of December 2016, so that you have ample time to practice now. And we will let you know of a certain time, and then we'll say we fix on 8 o'clock in Australia, then 8 o'clock in Malaysia, 8 o'clock in Indonesia, 8 o'clock in London, 8 o'clock in Sri Lanka, 8 o'clock everywhere. It's just following like Earth hour time. Then you'll start to have metta round the world, round the clock. Yeah? That means at every time zone, there will be people radiating loving kindness and wishing peace, harmony and stability in the world. Yeah? In the past, I have attended a number of conferences on world peace. I was skeptical about world peace. But today, I'm not so skeptical. I think we can do something about it. Yeah? And the least that we can do is to sit and keep our minds silent and have cherished the good thoughts. Yeah. So that, and train your minds. We have prepared a little DVD CD for you all. We go back and you can see the instructions how you can cultivate these thoughts. Anytime you see there are disasters in various places, sufferings and dangers, just get down into the state of calm and go deep into your heart and just have the wish that suffering beings be free from suffering, that those in sorrow be free from sorrow, that those in fear and dangers be free from fear and dangers. Don't forget, these good thoughts that you generate, what goes around comes around. So when time comes, when you have to be on your face with various crises and problems, then good thoughts will also come to you. Yeah? So I have more or less completed, and like Alison and Uncle Max, and if something comes up, it will come up. Yeah? I will continue. But for time being, I think it's enough for, yeah? And yes. Because we have, there are a few people here, yeah, who have vast experience, and I would like to get them to share their experience also with us, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, one thing that just came up in my mind, that the way we can be a little bit more effective in helping one another, in reaching out one another, if when you go back, if you can hold a party, not barbecue party, it's a metta party. As one of our Devotee, yeah, he will tell you, and Prasanna, he will tell you, he held a party because the Westerners and non-Buddhists, they do not know what metta is about. So he just called, we will have a party. So they went to his house for a party. And he got hold of my CD, my metta instructions, and he played that for 15 minutes. Yeah? And they all were seated down quietly, very calm, very peaceful, loving kindness. Then after that, they got up, and then he served them some, what you call a little refreshment. And then they all start to feel, they say, why don't we sit again? So again, he played another 15 minutes, yeah? And then after that, they drink a little bit, stretch a little bit. They say, so good, so calm, so peaceful, let us sit again. Then play a third time, 3 times, yeah? And that's the party about. Now, he will tell you effort, yeah? Then, or incidentally, Dr. Charika did not tell you, after the Metta convention, even before that, they already had, Dr. Ari has been promoting Metta, but after the convention, what he did was, even before the convention, 6 months before the convention, Dr. Ari got hold of all the 26 districts in Sri Lanka. There are 26 districts in Sri Lanka, and they are coordinators, and they form what you call, I went to Sri Lanka to conduct this workshop, yeah? And they have these metta circles, all the 26, what you call villages or districts. And there's 1 or 2 districts there when they came, these are the war-torn areas from Trincomalee, Batticaloa, Jaffna area. I was so touched. When these people came, they are young people, they have been recruited in the army, soldiers, they do not know anything about loving kindness and compassion. And what they know is violence, to fight, and they were told. But when they came here, when they came for this workshop, and they started to sit, and instructions are given to them, one by one tell us that we never know that there's something that can open our hearts with compassion. And one by one say, I will go back to promote this practice of loving kindness. And at that point, tears began to flow in my eyes, because if I had been there earlier, for 10 years earlier, the war would not be necessary. Of course, I think if we can start doing now, we can reduce the chances of war. As the preamble of the UNESCO preamble says that war begins in the minds of men. And it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace needs to be built. And that's what we need to build, the defenses of peace. Thank you.